but we have 2 licenses, and when we got our driver's license, we each had to take the test. We both passed. We wanted to do this documentary so people wouldn't have to always stare and take pictures, because we don't like when they take pictures, so they just knew who we are.
Abby and Brittany Hensel are 2 very special sisters who share one body but have 2 heads. They were born this way on March 7th, 1990 in Minnesota. When babies are born like this, doctors call them conjoined twins. This happens very rarely, only about 1 time in every 189,000 babies born. Most babies who are born connected like this don't live very long, but Abby and Brittany were different. And they not only lived, but grew up to be happy, smart young women. Each sister controls one side of their shared body. Abby controls the right side, and Brittany controls the left side. When they want to walk or do anything, they have to work together perfectly. When the girls were just 5 years old, they appeared on a famous TV show called The Oprah Winfrey Show. This was in 1996. People all over the world saw them and were amazed by how well they worked together. They laughed, talked about Disney movies, and showed everyone how they could move around even though they shared one body. After being on Oprah's show, they became very famous. A big magazine called Life magazine put their picture on the cover with the words, "One body, 2 souls." As the years went by, more TV shows and magazines wanted to tell their story. People were not just curious about how they looked, but they wanted to understand how 2 people could live as one and still be happy. The girls appeared in documentaries and special TV programs that showed their daily life. Growing up was not always easy for Abby and Brittany. They had to learn how to do everything together: walking, running, getting dressed, and even eating. But their parents, Mike and Patty Hensel, made a very important decision from the beginning. They decided to treat Abby and Brittany as 2 separate people, not as one person. This helped both girls grow up knowing they were individuals with their own thoughts, feelings, and dreams. The girls went to regular school just like other kids. They made friends, played sports like volleyball and softball, and did their homework. Even though some people stared at them or asked questions, they tried to live normal lives. They were good students and worked hard in all their classes. When they were teenagers, a TV channel called TLC wanted to make a show about their lives. TLC was known for making shows about people who were different or special. After thinking about it carefully, Abby and Brittany agreed to let TLC film their daily life. The show was called Abby and Brittany and started in 2012. The TV show followed them as they finished college at Bethel University, where they studied to become teachers. And because it showed them looking for jobs, traveling with friends, and doing all the things that young adults do, people who watched the show liked it because it was honest. It showed both the hard parts of their life and the fun parts too. On the show, people could see how much teamwork it took for them to do simple things. They had to agree on what clothes to wear, how to walk, and where to go. But they also showed that they could disagree sometimes, just like any sisters do. When they agreed on something, they would both say, "I think," at the same time. When they disagreed, they would say, "Abby thinks this," or "Brittany thinks that." After college, both sisters became elementary school teachers. They teach 5th grade, which means they work with kids who are about 10 or 11 years old. Teaching was always their dream job because they love helping children learn new things. The most exciting news about Abby and Brittany came in 2021. Abby got married to a man named Josh Bowling. Josh is a nurse and was a soldier in the Army. This was very special because it showed that even though the sisters share one body, they can still have their own relationships and make their own choices about love and marriage. Some people wondered how this would work since the sisters share one body. But Abby and Brittany have always been good at figuring out how to make things work for both of them. They live together with Josh in Minnesota, not far from where they grew up. The way their body works is very interesting. They have 2 hearts that beat separately, and they each have their own stomach, but they share other parts like their liver and their legs. Above their waist, most of their organs are separate. Below their waist, they share more organs. Each sister can only feel things on her own side of the body. Even though they share one body, Abby and Brittany are very different people. Abby is a little taller and her head tilts slightly to the right. Brittany is shorter and her head tilts more to the left. Because Brittany's leg is shorter, She walks on her tiptoes to keep them balanced when they walk. Abby becomes blind when she's 8 years old, and they can do many amazing things together. They learned how to drive a car, which meant they both had to take driving tests separately, even though they share the same body. When they drive, Abby works the pedals and controls on the right side while Brittany handles the left side. They both steer the wheel together. They can also play piano, type on computers, and do sports. Everything they do requires them to communicate and work as a team. After many years of practice, they can do most things without even talking about it first. Many people have wondered if Abby and Brittany could have children someday. When they were younger, they said they hoped to become mothers. Their mom thought this might be possible because their body parts needed for having babies work normally. Now that Abby is married, some people think this dream might come true. Abby and Brittany are not the only conjoined twins who have become famous. There were other twins before them who also inspired people. A long time ago, there were twin brothers named Ronnie and Donnie Gallion who lived to be 68 years old. They were the oldest conjoined twins ever recorded. Like Abby and Brittany, they chose to stay together even when doctors said they might be able to separate them. There are also other twins like Aaron and Abby Delaney who were born connected at their heads. These twins were successfully separated by doctors when they were babies. The surgery was very dangerous and took 11 hours, but both girls survived and are now healthy and happy. All of these stories show that there are different ways to live when you are born as conjoined twins. Some twins choose to stay connected, and others have surgery to separate them. Each family has to make the choice that feels right for them. What makes Abby and Brittany so special is not just that they share one body, but how they have lived their lives. They have shown the world that being different doesn't mean you can't have dreams, go to school, have jobs, fall in love, and be happy. They have taught people that everyone deserves to be treated with kindness and respect, no matter how they look. The world first met Abby and Brittany when they were small children, but they have grown into strong, independent women who happen to share one body. Their story continues to touch hearts and change minds about what it means to be different. They have shown everyone that no matter what challenges you face, you can still achieve your dreams and live a life full of love, laughter, and purpose. When Abby and Brittany were growing up, they had to learn many things that other kids take for granted. Simple activities like brushing their teeth, combing their hair, or putting on clothes required careful planning and teamwork. They had to coordinate every movement from reaching for objects to walking upstairs. But over the years, they became so good at working together that most of their movements look completely natural. Their different personalities have always been clear to everyone who knows them. Abby tends to be more outgoing and talkative, while Brittany is often quieter and more thoughtful. Abby likes math better, while Brittany prefers reading and writing. When they were in school, teachers had to figure out how to grade their work since they sometimes had different answers to questions, even though they shared one paper. One of the most interesting things about Abby and Brittany is how they handled disagreements. Like all sisters, they don't always agree on everything. Sometimes Abby wants to go one direction and Brittany wants to go another way. When this happens, they have learned to talk it out and find a solution that works for both of them. Usually they take turns making decisions, or they find a compromise that makes them both happy. Their friends from school remember them as being very funny and kind. They were always willing to help other students with their homework, and they never let their condition stop them from participating in class activities. During group projects, other kids quickly learned that working with Abby and Brittany meant getting two different perspectives on the same assignment, which often led to better results. Sports were always important to both sisters. Besides volleyball and softball, they also enjoyed swimming and bowling. Swimming was especially fun for them because the water supported their body and made movement easier. They could swim quite well, with each sister controlling her own arm to propel them through the water. Many people were amazed to see them swimming laps in the pool, just like any other teenagers. When they got their driver's licenses, it was a huge milestone for both girls. They had to convince the Department of Motor Vehicles that they could safely operate a vehicle. Each sister had to take the written test separately and prove that she understood the rules of the road. Then came the practical driving test, which they passed with flying colors. Their driving instructor said they were actually better drivers than many people with separate bodies because they had to communicate constantly and pay attention to everything happening around them. The sisters have always been very close to their parents and their younger brother and sister. Their family treated them like any other kids, which helped them develop confidence and independence. During family vacations, they would go camping, visit amusement parks, and travel to different states. They particularly enjoyed roller coasters and weren't afraid of rides that other people might find scary. Their college years at Bethel University were some of the happiest times of their lives. They lived in a dormitory with other students and participated in many campus activities. They joined clubs, attended sporting events, and made lifelong friendships. Their roommates and classmates quickly got used to their presence and treated them like any other college students. Student teaching was a particularly important experience for them. They worked in elementary school classrooms, helping regular teachers, and learning how to manage a classroom full of energetic children. The kids they taught were initially curious about their appearance, but within a few days, the students were more interested in what Abby and Brittany were teaching them than how they looked. This experience convinced them that teaching was definitely the right career choice. When they started looking for jobs after graduation, they faced some challenges. Some school districts weren't sure how to handle hiring conjoined twins. Would they need to pay two salaries or one? How would classroom management work? But Abby and Brittany proved that they could do the job just as well as any other teacher. They bring unique advantages to the classroom because they can watch different groups of students at the same time and provide more individual attention. In their current teaching position, they work together to plan lessons and grade papers. Sometimes they divide up tasks, with one sister working with a group of students while the other helps different children. Their students love having two teachers who are always present and available to help. Parents have commented that their children come home excited about school and eager to learn more. The news of Abby's marriage surprised many people who had followed their story over the years. Some people wondered how a relationship would work when one person is married to conjoined twins, but those who know Abby and Brittany well understand that they have always been good at working out complicated situations. Josh, Abby's husband, had gotten to know both sisters well before the marriage, and all three of them worked together to make sure everyone was comfortable with the arrangement. The wedding ceremony was small and private, with just close family and friends attending. The sisters chose to keep most of the details private because they value their personal lives and don't want every moment to be public. However, the few photos they shared showed a beautiful, happy celebration of love and commitment. Many people have asked whether Brittany feels left out now that Abby is married, but those who know the sisters well say that Brittany is very happy for her sister and gets along wonderfully with Josh. The three of them have found ways to make their living situation work for everyone. Brittany has her own interests and friendships, and she continues to pursue her own goals and dreams. The question of whether the sisters might have children someday is something many people wonder about. When they were teenagers, both girls expressed interest in becoming mothers. Medical experts have said that pregnancy would be possible for them, though it would require careful monitoring and special medical care. If they do decide to have children someday, it would be another first for conjoined twins, and would probably attract a lot of attention from the media. Throughout their lives, Abby and Brittany have had to deal with people staring at them, asking personal questions, and sometimes making rude comments. They have learned to handle these situations with grace and patience. They understand that most people are simply curious and don't mean to be hurtful. However, they do appreciate it when people treat them like any other individuals and focus on their personalities and accomplishments rather than their physical appearance. So, human spirit and the importance of treating every person with kindness and respect.